Love it.
We will continue with the committee reports. Buildings and Grounds, Mr. Kim.
Yes, we have 4 resolutions in front of us. I recommend anybody to make a motion.
I'll make a motion. Oh, shoot, sorry.
We need a second.
Yeah,
We'll make
I'll
a second.
make a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Jeffrey Will?
Yes.
Paul Kim?
Yes.
Ken Bruno?
Yes.
Connie Wang? Yes. Jason Kim?
Yes.
Stephanie Jang? Yes. Dr. Matarazzo?
I think I can vote on this one, yes.
John Madison?
Yes.
Barnabas Rowe?
Yes.
Thank you. Personnel Committee, Mr. Kim.
Yes, before you, we have 9 resolutions consisting of 4 maternity leaves, 2 appointments, 2 replacement teachers. I would like to make a motion to approve all these 9 resolutions.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion?
I'm sorry, did you say 9 or 10?
I believe you said 9.
There's 10 resolutions.
Oh, there are 10?
No, there's 9 here.
It's the second page.
Oh, I don't have the page.
You don't?
It's okay. If it's okay, I'll make, let me check my statement. I'd like to make a motion to make, approve 10 resolutions. Now I see.
Sorry about that.
So Mr. Kim motioned. Who was second, by the way? Mr.
Second.
Bruno. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Jeffrey Will?
Yes.
Paul Kim?
Yes.
Ken Bruno?
Yes.
Connie Wang? Yes. Jason Kim?
Yes.
Stephanie Jang? Yes. Tom Matarazzo?
Yes.
John Madison?
Yes.
Barnabas Rowe?
yes.
Curriculum, Mr. Kim.
I have nothing to report this time.
Thank you. And negotiations, Ms. Jang. Thank you. Report of policy, Ms. Hang. Thank you. Student activities and field trips, Ms. Hang.
There are 10 field trips on the agenda. I make a motion to move on all 10.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Jeffrey Will?
Yes.
Paul Kim?
Yes.
Ken Bruno?
Yes.
Connie Wang?
Yes.
Jason Kim?
Yes.
Stephanie Jang? Yes. Tom Matarazzo?
Yes.
John Madison?
Yes.
Barnabas Rowe?
Next is calendar food services, Mr. Wu.
I don't have any report.
Thank you. And New Jersey School Board Liaison, Mr. Bruno.
Same thing, no report this month.
Thank you very much. Any old business? New business, we have a couple items. Mr. Kim, would you like to discuss the school architect?
Yeah, I have 4 resolutions in front of me. I'd like to make a motion for this.
Excuse me, number 4, we can table number 3?
Yeah,
Number 4. Yeah, we're gonna table the number 4, I guess.
Table number 4.
Did I show it? Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, that's true.
Gonna re-advertise.
Yes, re-advertise.
So I have 3 resolutions in front of us. I'd like to make a recommendation to pass this.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes, I do.
Yes.
CGM Pro Enterprise, there are new companies that will be working for us cleaning the snow, correct?
So the day before our Wednesday and Thursday no school 2 weeks ago, we had both our trucks with the plows go down. We called our attorney, we sought special permission to have a company, the last company that was awarded an out of bid award by this Board of Education, never returned our calls. At that point, we reached out to this company who was able to do services for the district.
Thank you for the quick response.
And they did a great job, good
Yeah,
job.
very good.
Good.
We were happy.
Great, thank you.
If, may I ask a question?
Sure.
Yeah, if this emergency happening again, then
So again, we had a little bit more snow since then. We had them spread salt. We already have them lined up for this week in the event we have more inclement weather. We have received one of our trucks back with a plow working. The spreader is not completely operational at this point. So I'd rather keep them on record, approved by the board as needed.
thank you.
Joe, can you actually call DPW for this?
So we have worked with John Gralla, and the town has been phenomenal helping us.
Oh, okay.
I think they're overmanned. I think they're
I know, yeah.
understaffed, and
Yeah, I know, especially if there's a lot of snow.
yeah,
All right, thank you.
no problem.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Jeffrey Wu,
Yes.
Paul Kim,
Yes.
Ken Bruno,
Yes.
Connie Wang, Jason Kim,
Yes.
Stephanie Jang,
Yes.
Thomas Matarazzo.
Yes.
John Madison.
Yes.
Veronica Squall.
Yes.
Thank you. Anything else under new business?
Yes. I had asked the board in closed session to authorize an additional 15 hours for employment of Mr. Groverone to address continuing litigation.
Can we have
I need a motion and a second for that.
is there a motion?
I second.
Oh, good. First, a motion.
I make motion.
Veronica
Is there a second?
Matarazzo.
I'll second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Yeah, you already did.
Oh,
Who's
okay.
on first? I
Yes.
We didn't discuss, so we'll just do roll call, please.
Jeffrey Wu.
Yes.
Paul Kim,
Yes.
Ken Bruno.
Yes.
Connie Wang,
Yes.
Jason Kim,
Yes.
Stephanie Jang,
Yes.
Thomas Matarazzo.
Yes.
John Madison.
Yes.
Veronica Squall.
Yes.
And Mr. Seville, would you like to make that brief announcement about the next
Yes,
meeting?
to comply with the budget election calendar, we must move our April meeting that was scheduled for April 18th to April 25th, which is the following Wednesday. That's the earliest we can have our public hearing,
April 25th.
April 25th.
Thank you.
That's a Wednesday. So I need a
Is this
motion.
gonna be also a regular meeting or just a budget?
It would be both. Yeah,
Both,
we'll just
okay.
move the 18th meeting to the 25th. We'll have a regular meeting as well
And
as
we'll
the
do both,
budget.
very good.
Can we have a motion?
You want to
Can we
start
make a
earlier
motion?
than 7 or 6:30?
That's fine. Yeah, that's
That is a conflict with the National Honor Society inductions that evening, so if anyone was going to attend, I would prefer we start earlier. But if that's an inconvenience to the board,
Can we
Honor
move the
Societies is at 6 p.m., I believe, on the
Tuesday or
25th.
Thursday?
What time do you wanna meet?
Thursday, but.
If we start at 6, I can get there late with whomever from the board is attending.
Dr. Cyril, can we
Yes, sir.
move it to the Tuesday or Thursday?
I think Wednesday's the
Sure,
first
that's
day.
okay with me? Tuesday would be the earliest, as per the county.
Yeah.
Okay, so Tuesday.
Tuesday the
is fine.
24th? Does that work for
I
everyone?
mean, especially the Honor Society, you know,
Yep.
Tuesday the 24th then.
At 6 p.m.
great.
I have a meeting on
Me too.
Tuesday.
Okay.
Thursday would be better.
Guys, let's stay with the 25th, I can get there a few minutes late.
Okay, let's
do that.
Start at 6 o'clock. then.
Yes, please.
6 o'clock on the
6
25th?
o'clock?
Yeah,
26 or
25th.
25th.
Wednesday the
I'm
25th.
amazing.
We need a motion though, right?
I make a motion to put it on the 25th at 6 p.m.
I'll second that.
Roll call, please.
Jeffrey Wu.
Yes.
Paul Kim.
Yes.
Ken Bruno.
Yes.
Connie Wang.
Yes.
Jason Kim.
Yes.
Stephanie Jang. Thomas Matarazzo.
Yes.
John Madison.
Yes.
Veronica Squall.
Yes.
Okay, next is audience participation. Can we have a motion to go into audience participation, please?
I make a motion to go to audience participation.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I would like to just briefly remind the audience that our policy 9322 states that each participant is limited to 3 minutes. Is there anyone in the audience? Yes, would you state your name, please?
Hi, Anthony Matera. As the outgoing board member, I want to congratulate Thomas Matarazzo on taking the seat. Tom, congratulations.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes.
Kathy Doheny, co-president of the PPA. I would just like to remind everyone and applaud the staff at ECC and the students because we're doing a readathon and to get Chromebooks for our school. We've raised maybe $4,000 already, and Jason Hom has put it up, Heroes, on the website because townspeople through social media found out and donated $250. I think the mayor donated, lots of people have donated. So we're using that money to get Chromebooks, and Andrea Reddick, Diane Kandari spearheaded it, and we're making a lot of money. So anybody who wants to donate, feel free.
And is that on a website?
Mhm.
Okay, maybe she can forward that.
Yep.
Okay. Anyone else in the audience?
Spread the word.
We will. Yes, sir.
Charles Stark, this goes to, I guess, the entire board. With the recent tragedy in Florida, what had happened in Connecticut, the mayor and council has given you permission to enhance whatever school safety features need to be enhanced. Can you tell me, as of now, what has been done in the 3 weeks since to get us to where we need to be? I still see cars parked outside the second floor door, which is an evacuation route. I now see a bucket, which is sitting outside the front door of the high school, which is clearly against everything that everybody has said, because it can easily have an IED put in it, which is also an evacuation route from the school. I understand that the children were locked in the gymnasium during a lockdown drill last week for over 20 minutes while people were searching for keys. I understand that the superintendent of schools walked into a lockdown drill at Lindbergh with no notification, and he just walked in and was walking down the hallways. I'm hearing all sorts of different things. Can you tell me where we are and where we're going?
Sure. I will tell you, as I've stated before, I think we are in a better place today than we have been in the past. With that being said, is there room for improvement every single day? I've met with the mayor, I've met with a few council members, I've met with borough officials. We are, and with our board attorney, we are entering into a shared service agreement where armed retired officers will be placed in each of our schools. Obviously, an undertaking such as that takes time. This is not something that can just happen overnight. There is obviously much to do with language, with paperwork, with recommendations and approvals. With that being said, regarding the boxes, I would assume you're talking about the containers placed at each of our doors. I will attest to you that I had an administrative meeting today, and every administrator in the district thought that the procedures in place thus far have had a positive effect on the culture in their buildings. We have cut down the number of visitors in our schools. Safety is the priority. You're a parent like I am, and I would tell you wholeheartedly, I don't think it's fair to any one of those children to worry about any assessment if they did not feel safe in their classrooms. The presence from our police department has been improved. We still have our uniformed officers. We have an app that every school teacher in the district has been given rights to access a lockdown at any given time. Not asking permission, no different than pulling a fire drill. So if I saw somebody right now, as I'm approaching any one of our 3 schools, I push a button, we're in lockdown. As per the situation you referred to in the gymnasium, a 20-minute lockdown last week, I didn't know that it was attributed to keys, so I don't comment on that. But I will look into it, and I definitely know how to contact you, and I will.
Yes,
Last week, number one, when we have,
say your name, please?
my name is Rosemary Lonis, and I have 2 children in the high school. When we have sports going on, there is nobody at the front door checking who's coming in. Nobody's checking bags. The gentleman, the security guard in the front does nothing but ask for your ID. That's number one. Last week, our children were practicing for track outside, and the baseball team was inside the gym. We have 4 homeless people living behind the high school. They were in black hoodies on the football field. Nobody brought these kids inside for lockdown. They still continued practicing. Nothing was sent home. There was no email sent home. You have kids texting us that this is what occurred. So how are they being protected? After school programs, there's no protection in our schools for our children. There's no protection. I'm there. I work very hard for the sports in our high school. I raise money, but there's no protection ever. So all these kids last week, the guys are still sleeping behind the high school. Why isn't anything done about this?
It was brought to my attention that those 4 individuals were indeed homeless. The police department actually removed them. If you're telling me different, and they are still there, I'm sure the kids would know better than I would.
If they removed them, okay, I understand if they removed them, Dr. Cirillo.
Correct.
But these kids should have been brought inside for lockdown.
So
you have all these kids outside on the field, and you have and the gym doors are wide open.
So I would have no problem whatsoever asking that we sit down with the building administrators.
Okay.
No one's perfect.
No,
we
I
all can
understand
use
that.
every opportunity as a learning opportunity. Okay, so my advice is I have no problem, and I've talked to the administrators about how to handle those situations in the future.
Okay.
We could all
Work together.
and
That
play
was one
Monday
incident
morning
we had
quarterback.
this-
So the issue here becomes, politely, the police were involved. When the police get involved, if they tell us a lockdown is not necessary, we have to follow their procedures.
But
Once-
as a superintendent, you can't call a lockdown?
Absolutely, and any time. If I push the button,
Okay.
they don't have to tell me what
These
to do.
kids were out there in the field. They should have been
Unfortunately,
brought inside.
Unfortunately, I was not there, nor am I gonna tell you that any building official was there. You said it was 4:30?
around 4:30.
Technically,
Yeah,
the
they were
school,
gone.
technically,
They
the
were
school
gone.
administrators
Yeah,
work
the
until
administrators
4
were not
PM.
there. They
So
were
I
not
would
there,
go
Dr.
back and,
Cirillo.
at that point, this is a matter that I will discuss with the athletic director, because the coaches at this point, and again, maybe not all coaches have the app. I see Mr. Frangen in the back, I would assume he doesn't have it.
I knew nothing about an
I
app.
didn't even
Nobody
know
said
there was
anything
an
to the
app.
coaches.
So for the record, you're absolutely right, this is not something that was afforded to the athletic coaches.
Well, then-
This issue makes me want to do it wholeheartedly for every coach now.
That was one incident, Dr. Cirillo. The second incident was about the day of the homecoming. The girls were going to the state basketball game, the state championship game.
Pep rally.
The pep rally, I'm sorry. Okay, the pep rally. A boy who got suspended from our school showed up at the school. He went in, his girlfriend must have opened the back door where the cafeteria is. He was inside the school in the morning. He does not go to school in this district anymore. He's in another district. The school expelled him.
I'm not going, so for the record, I would be very cautious with the language you're using. No student in my 5 years in this district has been expelled. That is something that the Board of Education would have to
Well,
approve.
that's what they said, he was expelled.
I wouldn't agree or believe with everything that's being said.
Well, whatever, he got into the school, and then he came back in the afternoon. He's a senior, and he doesn't go in the district anymore to fight somebody, okay? If it wasn't for us parents grabbing him at the front door, he would have went inside the school again.
Okay.
So there was no security there again.
I will bring it to the attention of the administration and inform the police that maybe a stronger presence is necessary.
There was no cops there every day. There's no cops when these kids get out of school. You can ask every parent, if we pick our children up, there's not a police presence outside our school. There's none.
I'm not saying there is, but
No, there really isn't, Dr. Cirillo.
But respectfully, my budget is for the school board of education. The mayor and council, I can't decide who is at what building,
Okay,
but I can bring this concern to their attention, and I will.
okay.
Thank you for your concern. Yes.
So at the last meeting, I made a comment to Dr. Cirillo about the track and field team. This is a small part of the track and field team. They're here to put a rumor that is out there that I'm very uncomfortable with the word threat. Coach Frangen has never threatened anyone, especially these kids. And they're here to talk about what I said last week. I asked, what is the future of the track and field program? I truly believe education, yes, number one. Sports also has to see, you guys can't just not focus on education. You have to focus on after-school programs. These kids are a testimony. They're great in school. They're also great on track and field, football, baseball, you name it. Guys,
Ms. Alvarez, I don't know where the word threatened was used, but for the record, and just like you had your piece, I'll say my piece. I don't disagree one bit that each and every one of these kids and their after-school involvement is as important as their in-school involvement. I'm in education because of my athletic career. I played high school sports, which enabled me a scholarship to go play Division I college, which brought me to education. At this point, having a doctorate in athletics and academics, I can tell you how much I know the importance is. As far as Mr. Frangen threatening anyone, I never said those words. He would not be a coach. For the record, and maybe he doesn't notice, nor does anyone in the room. I don't have any problems with Mr. Frangen. I applaud him in his efforts with the team. As a matter of fact, I voted today that he'd be inducted in the Palisades Park Hall of Fame. He didn't know that. I don't think anyone knew that. I don't know where threatened is coming from, but to clear the air, please elaborate on threatened.
I don't know, you said it at the last meeting.
I
can play.
You said at the Board of Ed meeting?
I said what, Julio?
February 14th.
What is your name?
Yeah, please state your name.
Julio Mencia.
What was said?
Yeah.
What was said?
You said you felt threatened. Like, it's in the part 3 of the Board of Ed meeting video. And
It's on YouTube.
I will be more than happy to view it. He's an employee of our district. I have no problem with Mr. Frangen. I don't think I'm threatened one bit. I wouldn't put him before our children if I was threatened or if he was a threat to them. I don't know where that, again, the comment I'm sure is taken out of context.
It's on YouTube if you want to see it.
I will watch it.
Go ahead, Julio.
Please state your name, please.
Brandon Frangen. Okay? I've lived in this town for 34 years. Dr. Matarazzo knows me as well as my character, so does Mr. Matisich. They were around when I was in high school and I competed in sports, and they came to every single awards dinner that I earned. Okay? I'll get to that later, because that annoys me with the board, but I'll get to that later. I'd like to read my statement that I've written after the last board meeting on the 14th. Okay? Now, I had no idea to begin with that there was a board meeting on the 14th because I was told the board meeting was on the 21st. I was in New York City at a track meet, and the next day I get a phone call from numerous people and students coming up to me in the school about a potential threat, that Dr. Cirillo felt threatened, and then people showed me the video. I went home, showed the video to my parents, which my father is here tonight. My mother saw it, my aunt, my cousins. The video on YouTube has been sent around, okay, because obviously on YouTube, a public website, you can share this stuff, okay? And everybody all heard Dr. Cirillo say that he was potentially threatened by my way as a coach for a teaching job in this district. So I'm here tonight to clear my name and my character in front of the Board of Education, in front of Dr. Cirillo, in front of my athletes who heard it and came up to me as soon as I stepped foot in the school because they saw the video. Okay? I was one of 2 candidates that applied for the elementary physical education position because this position was only posted in-house. It was not posted on any job websites, not on the district website, not in any newspapers. The position was closed within 5 days. I met with Dr. Cirillo on February 8th at 1 p.m. for a second round of interviews. The first words out of his mouth as I walked into his office were, "It is a tribute to you for how well you have done with the track team and a particular athlete who is a minor and I cannot mention at this meeting." The next question that was brought to my attention as I sat at his desk to discuss the position, he said, quote, "I heard from a reliable source that if you do not get this job, you are leaving." He then asked, "Is that a threat? Because it sounds like a threat to me." My response to Dr. Cirillo was, "Joe, it is not a threat. I am 33 years old, and I need to start looking at my future. I wasn't going to say anything, but I was offered another job, which I did go into detail with him, which I do not need to mention here. I did say to him that although the other job would offer a lot more money, it is not something that I want to do. I told him that my passion is in teaching and coaching, and that here is where I want to be. I want to teach here. I want to continue with the high school track team, coach the football team, boost the middle school track program, and begin a recreation track program. I would also improve the skills of every sport at the elementary level. I would rather give up a ton of money to continue to do what I love doing." He then replied by saying that I can respect man to man, that now I understand this is not a threat. Let me say that again. He stated that he understood and did no longer see it as a threat. So for Dr. Cirillo to be on video, which is posted on a public website such as YouTube, and for me to walk into my workplace and hear from several people, including my own athletes, about the video and the statement made is aggravating, disheartening, and discrediting. Not only was that a low blow, but I walk into my workplace on Wednesday, February 21st, to prepare for an all-star meet that day, and again, I walk into more untrue allegations. I hear from several people that Dr. Cirillo was at the high school earlier that day and made statements that I have put parents and students up to the idea of protesting his decision for the hire of the phys ed position. Let me be utterly clear. In no way, shape, or form have I asked any parent or student to protest on my behalf. When I found out that I did not get the job, I kept it between myself and my family. Parents did not find out about it until they asked me themselves if I had heard anything about the position, and this occurred days later after I found out I did not get the position. I told them I tried my hardest, but unfortunately, they went with the other candidate. Whatever parents and students have decided to do after the news was and still is unbeknownst to me. I did not expect a turnout like this for them to come on my behalf. I came here to talk on my own behalf. I did not expect parents to be here either. I had nothing to do with any of these people showing up tonight. I came here to defend myself. I have been asked repeatedly, do you feel that all consideration was given in the choosing of the candidates? And like the parents and others in this district, in my opinion, I don't think so. In just about every school district in the United States, physical education teachers make up the majority of their school's coaches. It was said by Dr. Cirillo that the best person for 8 to 3 was selected for the job. Well, since PE teachers are the main source of coaches, and knowing that our district has a tough time in getting people to come coach here, you would think that is something to contemplate instead of just an 8 to 3 time slot. In my opinion, you had the opportunity to keep a head coach of a successful program in district and have failed. In my opinion, you have done a disservice to the parents, students, and athletes of Palisades Park. When you are told in a meeting with the superintendent by the superintendent that politics and nepotism are not part of the decision for a job, yet someone gets a position who has 2 other family members who not only work in the district, but in the same exact building.
Sorry to interrupt, sir. We're well past the 3-minute mark, but
Anyway, I'll continue.
Please wrap up.
As a person who is not politically connected and has been overlooked 4 times for a position in this district, what am I supposed to think, and what are other non-politically connected people supposed to believe? We all know who's connected to who, and like the line from the movie The Godfather, you never go against the family. That alone, without name dropping, you should be able to put these pieces together. This is the reason, in my opinion, why many parents and students are upset over this decision. It is because they are sick and tired of the same garbage done by this district. The who-you-knows get hired before the good people who can actually make a change for the better in this district are pushed away. In closing, I hope that I have cleared up any misconceptions about my character tonight. I hope it will be realized that another person like me, who could have made a difference and had a positive impact on this district, has slipped through the cracks yet again. I want to thank all of those who have stood by my side, as they know who they are. I would like to thank all of the athletes that I have coached over the last 8 years. To Dr. Cirillo and the members of the Board of Education, you can expect my letter of resignation after our last track meet in June. As far as I am concerned, in my opinion, you do not deserve a hardworking and dedicated person like me who takes pride in his school district to work for you. Thank you.
Can we have a motion to close audience participation?
I'll make a motion to close.
Second?
I think the kids want
The kids want to speak.
Oh, the kids want to speak?
Other people that want to take stuff.
Let's stand up and,
Limit, time limit.
yeah, 3
Yeah,
minutes,
just please respect the time limit.
Yeah,
Say
I
your
wanna
name,
say,
please.
like, when I play sports,
What is
Please state your name.
Derek Bueno. When I play sports, I do it for the school and stuff to like build up the school. I'm a freshman. You know, he seen me play varsity as a freshman. When I first got injured, because I went up for a dunk, I fell, and like the only one that came was my only coach. Like I didn't get no help from ambulance, nobody came. So like I felt like that. But to be honest, the sport, every time I dribble the basketball in the gym, like it stopped. Like the gym floor is messed up, so y'all need to fix that. And like Mr. F, he's a great coach. He coached me before I went to the school. I really like him as a coach. I would like him as a football coach, as a track coach, and as a gym teacher. So I was just wanted to say that.
Thank you. Is there anyone else? Yes, please state your name.
My name is Karen Roca, and I've been in part of the track and field team for 4 years since a freshman. I also had the privilege to be part of the winter track program, which actually got back this year, and I thank everyone here for that. I wanted to express my feelings about Coach Frondren possibly leaving. As you guys know, obviously he didn't get the job, and he obviously needs another option to get money. You know, a 33-year-old man can't just live off a coaching job, and we obviously understand that. And I had the privilege of being his athlete for 4 years, but we have freshmen, we have sophomores, we have juniors who look up to him, who look up to his example. He doesn't treat us like just any other athlete, he treats us as family. When he told us the news, almost half the team wanted to cry. And that's something really emotional to us because we look at him not just as a coach, but as part of a family. Us, almost 70 kids, part of the track team, we're not a team, we're a whole family, and we're here to fight for that because we want to know what's going to happen in track. Yes, I'm going to graduate this year, but what's going to happen to my other teammates who are sophomores, freshmen, and juniors? What's going to happen to the track team? We all want answers, and we all want our coach.
Thank you. Is there anyone else? Yes, sir.
Real quick, I'll start again. Dr. Cirillo, is there something we can do with the condition of the high school field? That is our home field. and during the course of the years, that field has become, I wanna say, deplorable. Every other town you go to, it's lined, there's lettering, there's a track around it. Is there something in the near future we can do with that field? I mean, we have Lindbergh, that's the baseball diamond, you can't even play on it, it's missing probably 40 yards of clay. The softball diamond was rehabbed probably 10% last year. They put some clay and some money into it. I know sports and education kind of don't go with each other, but they are still school properties and they still need to be maintained. Is that something that we need to go to the mayor and council and say we need money to upgrade? We're paying the county an exorbitant amount of money to use their field, and even now that's being limited by all the other agencies that are coming in, and we're bidding for spots on where our children are able to play. The track and field team can't play on a high school field. It's not set up for it. But to put in a javelin pit, a shot put pit, a discus pit, and put in a quarter-mile track, it can still be done. So is there anything that the mayor and council, the school board, anybody can do with that field to bring it?
So for the better part of the past year or so, we've been gathering information. We actually have a long-range facilities plan that has been submitted to the state. I think renovations in our schools and exterior of our buildings, including our sports facilities, the gymnasium, we have major issues that need immediate attention. Windows, roofs, boilers, I can go on and on. Fields are extremely important. Again, a former athlete wants to do right by athletes. I obviously want to give them and ask the board for anything and everything they want. At the end of the day, this is a major referendum, upwards of $80 to $100 million that will impact the whole community and each and every taxpayer. I sure hope we have a board here that is committed. And again, when and if that question is proposed to the taxpayers, that it's approved, because it goes way beyond the fields, it goes to the classrooms, it goes to the environment that they walk into each and every day. It addresses the concerns we have with security. We proposed a budget tonight. That budget is $6 million short of where we should be as a school district. Our general tax levy is at $23 million and change. A district our size should have it closer to 29 and change. That's not a number I come up with. We're doing a lot with a little. This is not something, and again, I'm glad these young adults are here. I'm really glad that they're a witness to how a meeting goes. This is not a knock on Coach Frangen. I, again, commend him. I congratulated him last month with all of his efforts. I made the motion today to put him in a Hall of Fame in June. Again, I didn't think I was going to tell him this tonight in this type of venue. He deserves it because his team is here. What better place as a former coach to tell a coach? With that being said,